Yeah, I'm living my best life. Made a couple M's, you know. Said I'm living my best life. Said I'm living my best life.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, Random Opinions, Reaction, and Reviews. If you don't know who I am by now, you gotta get with the program. Today I'm coming to do a review on the episode that aired today on General Hospital. Today's date is July 11th, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. So, we start off with scenes between Hayden and Elizabeth. I am so glad to have my girl back. Y'all just don't know. So we start off with scenes between her and Elizabeth, and she shows up with donuts. And Elizabeth is like, Hayden, fill me in. What are you doing here? Like, you know, I miss you. I love you. You're my sis, but it's the reason why you're here. And she's like, girl, I just came to see my sister. That's all. And she was like, come on now, Hayden. Be serious. You came to see Finn, didn't you? And Hayden's like, look, I came here to pass out donuts for the hospital because I know I left on bad terms and I just want to make everything right. And so while she's talking to Elizabeth, Finn shows up. And Finn, basically, he wants time to be able to talk to Hayden. Like, he feels like they have some unfinished business, unfinished conversations that need to be had. And Hayden is trying to avoid him. Like, she don't want to do it. She's like, look, I came here to bring these donuts. I have to pass them out. I don't have the time. And Finn's like, look, Elizabeth, he took the donuts right from Hayden. Elizabeth, make sure to tell everybody that these donuts are there for them. And Hayden, come on, let's go. And did y'all see the way he grabbed Hayden? Come on now. Like, that was not her, let me see. That was not her, her hip, whatever you want to call it. That looked a little bit too low. I'm like, okay. But it was cute. So then they get on the elevator and they leave and they go to the Metro Court to have a conversation. We have scenes between Lucas and Elizabeth today. These were, to me, just filler scenes where Lucas was basically checking in on Elizabeth, making sure everything is right with Aiden. Because remember, Elizabeth believes that there is a possibility that Aiden can be gay. So he was just checking in and seeing how Aiden ended the school year and stuff. And then they get to talking about Wiley, and he just fills Elizabeth in on how he doesn't think that they're gonna have Wiley for long. We had scenes today between Obrecht and Franco. And Franco knew that Obrecht wasn't going to tell this secret once she was sober enough. Like, so he asked her again about the secret, and you know, she was so stoned, you guys, she didn't even know she had mentioned anything about baby Wiley. So she tries to backpedal and say, you know, I had a lot of things going on. I seen how happy you was with your family, and I seen everything that I've lost, and I just began to feel lonely, and I started to ramble about things that are not true. And Franco is like, come on now, tell me the truth. You can tell me the truth. And she's like, look, there's nothing. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. There's no secret that I have that I need to tell. And so then Obrecht maintains that she was pushed off of the dock. And so Chase comes to take her statement, and Chase reminds her, like, hey, you don't want to file a false police report. Are you sure you were pushed? And she says, look, I know I was pushed. So they start going over names of who was all on the boat, and, you know, and Hayden's name came up. And Lisa was like, Hayden was there? That woman hates me. And so now she's thinking that Hayden was the one that pushed her. And I'm like, look, my girl been in town for all of one day, and she already is finna go through some drama. She already have drama knocking on her door. Hayden be minding her business, and sometimes things just come to her. Like, she's not all bad, but she is a very resourceful woman. She's not one of those damsel in distress, and that's what I like about Hayden. She's not all evil, but she knows how to run a con if need be. She knows how to get out of sticky situations. This is why I love her, but she's not a bad character. She, you know, she makes mistakes, and everybody is privy to make mistakes at some time. But so I guess now she's gonna be going in for questioning by the police. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But I'm just like, y'all really Y'all already trying to lock my girl up. She only been in Port Charles. She only been in PC for a day. Come on now. You know what was funny? Finn was in the room with Obrecht when she woke up. And Liesl didn't know what happened. She's like, what happened? And Franco starts to explain to her what happened, right? And he was like, yeah, so Jax and Curtis went in to save you. And Finn had to do mouth to mouth. And Obrecht gonna say, you're welcome. Like, this is why I love Obrecht, y'all. Like, I laughed so freaking hard when she said that. I'm like, really, Obrecht? And so Finn's looking like, it just was funny because when he did mouth to mouth on her, he looked so disgusted. He looked so disgusted when he did it. So I'm like, nah, she want to come up here. But that's my girl talking about, you're welcome. But anyway, on to the next thing. We have scenes today with Willow and Chase. And Chase makes a remark to the effect of, maybe I should turn in my badge and go and work for Sonny Corinthos. Just because he is losing faith in the justice system. Like, there's no way Willow should be behind bars because she's trying to protect her child, but yet and still she is. So he's losing hope, but you know, he's a detective. It runs in his blood. So Chase basically misses his girlfriend. He wants her out of lockup. He is definitely a good boyfriend. I'm hoping that these two stick together and be a good couple. Like, I see where the writers are trying to go with her and Michael, but as we're seeing, like, people are starting to like Michael with Sasha, and people have started to like Chase with Willow. So let's keep it that way. Let's not try to break this couple up. I think Chase is a good boyfriend. Like, there is no reason why these two should break up. There would be no justification as to why, you know, because he is a good boyfriend. He's held her down this whole time, you know. You know, and she's able to confide in him, not as much as she does Michael. I don't know why, but she's able to confide into Chase as well. So hopefully she just learns to be comfortable with a man, you know, because Shiloh has messed her up, but she's done a great job at fending for herself and being self-aware. So I'm proud of her. We have scenes today with the Quartermaines, Alexis, and Shiloh. So we leave off where Shiloh walks into the Quartermaine mansion, and everybody is shocked to see him. Ned wants to know, how did he get in the door? And they're just surprised that Oscar gave their shares to this freak fest, you know? And everybody's pissed, like, mad, right? And so he's coming like, oh yeah, your son entrusted these shares to me, blah 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 blah, and I wish, he gonna say to Drew, I wish that you remembered how close we were, da 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 da. Drew was pissed, you guys, and he realized that this guy is a joke. He took advantage of his son and his last, I guess, months of living. Like, he's pissed. So he pushes Shiloh, and I was like, yes, I'm glad he pushed him. Like, but he didn't do damage like I would have wanted him to have done. And so Shiloh gets up and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, Drew, you know, maybe you've gotten the wrong impression from what's going on, but I'm really a good guy, and I opened up DOD to be able to help other people, and it's legit, and you know. And he starts to try to appeal to Kim. Why? Because she's a female that is vulnerable at this time. And he's like, this is Oscar's dying wish. Don't you want to live out his dying wish? He wanted me to have these shares. And Kim is just like, you could tell she's so vulnerable, guys. She don't know whether she coming or going. She cannot make a logical decision. So the Quartermaines, they do what Quartermaines do, and they lobby around her like, hey, you are out of line. You know, Oscar didn't know who you was when he gave these shares to you. And Oscar wanted these shares to go to unfortunate children so that they could climb Mount Kilimanjaro and all this other stuff. So, you know, and Shiloh's like, well, it doesn't matter. It was wrote in the will, so I will be signing. And Michael's like, you're not signing nothing. And Alexis is like, I will contest it to the fullest. And Michael's like, there's no way you can sign because Oscar had a final handwritten bequest. And it was for those shares to go to unfortunate children. So they figure out a way to be able to tie Shiloh up in court for years so that they can fight this. You know, one will says give him the shares, the other will says, which was the last will, which was the last will, the final will that Oscar ever wrote or had something to do with. So they find a way to be able to pretty much contest this will that they're reading now. And I guess Alexis didn't know anything about that particular will because Oscar told Jason, his executor, about this, and Jason had the papers drawn up with Diane. And so Alexis is like, yes, like finally something that we could use to fight this guy because he's not getting these shares. Monica is mad, you guys. Like Shiloh really done pissed her off too, you know. And so she even tells him like, look, we've had a whole bunch of interlopers to come into the Quartermaine family, and they haven't been strong enough to even last. And you won't last either. Trust and believe that. And, you know, he's smug. They tell him, they kick him out. He leaves out. And while he's leaving out, he receives a call. And Michael overhears that call. It's regarding some DNA results. And so he's on his way to General Hospital. So then Alexis asks Michael, hey, did you overhear that call that Shiloh got? Can you tell me anything that you heard? And so Michael's like, it's bad. Because he is already putting two and two together. Most likely that DNA test is on Wiley. Because they already know that Shiloh suspects that Wiley is his son. Once Shiloh leaves, the family starts arguing about, you know, the shares, and not arguing with each other. They're just like venting to each other because they feel like Oscar basically was betrayed. You know, he believed and trusted in this man, and this man is no good. So they're arguing about the shares and how they'll never get into Shiloh's hands. And Kim walks out. And Drew follows her, and she's like, I understand that your shares are important, but it's not as important as Oscar. Like, I've lost my son. I don't care about these shares. I don't care about any money because no amount of money will bring my son back. And she has every right to feel the way she feels. You know, I'm just hoping that Shiloh, she stays clear of Shiloh. That's all I'm saying, because she is not in her right mindset and anybody can take advantage of her. I'm also hoping that her and Drew will become a little bit closer, because I feel like she has Julian to help her, but she definitely needs a multitude of people to keep her sane and make sure she's okay. And people are doing what they can, but sometimes you have to watch out for people. Sometimes you just have to sleep on a person's couch, especially knowing what Kim has gone through. She needs observation, you guys. She needs somebody there watching her 24/7. But yeah, she needs to seek help, and just seeing a therapist every now and then is not going to help her. She needs legit help. She needs to check herself into an institution, and I don't think she's that bat crazy or anything like that. I just think she needs to be able to get into the right mindset of not having Oscar, because she's taking it, you know, and nobody can tell you how to grieve, but her judgment is impaired. And when that happens, you definitely need to seek some type of help. So I don't know if I mentioned with Finn and Hayden, they get to talking, and Finn is like, I want you to know something. And Hayden is like, you're engaged to Anna Devane. And so she knows all about him. And he's like, you know what? I've been asking Elizabeth about you, and she maintained that she didn't know where you was at. And she was like, well, I kept in touch with my sister from time to time, checking out people in Port Charles that I love, that include you, that includes Curtis, her, and her children, you know. And Finn is like, you care about me? You love me? Like, you know. And she's like, you know what? Like, we definitely had our differences, but we both landed on our feet. I'm with Jax now, and you're with Anna. To show my good faith, we should all have a sit down and go out to dinner. I'm like, girl, you know you still feel some type of way about Finn, and Finn knows he still feels some type of way about you. Like, y'all do not need to be eating with each other's significant others. Like, no, y'all need to figure out what's going on between y'all two before y'all mess everything up and hurt people who don't deserve to be hurt. Now with Jax, I feel like there's an agenda with Jax. I feel like he's not in love with with Hayden or anything like that, but definitely Anna is invested in Finn, you know, and we don't want to hurt Anna, but there's definitely going to be some shakeups. And like I say all the time, I'm here for it. So Shiloh goes over to General Hospital and he sees Lucas and he's taunting Lucas, you guys. Like, Lucas is a good person. Shiloh taunting him is just going to get him in the bad way because there's so many people that care about Lucas. And that's on good and bad opposite sides of the law. I mean, I guess Shiloh don't care at the end of the day. But he's taunting Lucas and he's like, I'm here for a DNA test of my son. I know my son is Wiley. Once I find out and I have that proof that he is my son, you better have his blanket and his clothes ready because I will be picking him up. And Lucas is like, man, stay away from my son. Stay away from my son. And he's like, no, I think you mean my son. And Lucas is not feeling that, you guys. Like, he doesn't deserve this. He was just a man trying to take care of a child that needed his help, you know. And now he's had all this commotion that's taking place. His husband is lying to him. You know, Willow is in the picture. Shiloh is a douchebag. Like, he just doesn't deserve this at all. Then we have scenes today with, this is the last scene of the day that I'm going to talk about. And we are at the PCPD with Jason, Sam, and Mac and Robert. And so remember I told you it left off where Jason shows up at the PCPD and they're like, hey Jason, you have a warrant out for your arrest, you need to turn yourself in. And Jason says, yes, I'm here to turn myself in, but I have a witness that will corroborate Carol's story. And that witness turns out to be Harmony. And Harmony is like, I would like to go by my name Lorraine Miller. That was who I was before I met Shiloh. Robert is like, look, I hope Jason, whatever Jason promised you, money or some type of a deal, it's gonna be null and void. Like, and Harmony's like, look, there was no promises made, there was no payments made. I am just here to exonerate Carol and to do what my late husband would have wanted me to do and save my daughter and my grandson, you know. And so she starts to break it down to Mac and Robert of what happened when they were in DOD. So she tells them what DOD was and how they have the BCPD in their back pockets along with other elected officials in the Beecher's Corners town. And so that's why he was able to skate all these years without being caught or anything like that, because he had powerful people in his pocket. And she used to do like the finances for DOD, and she was saying how he used to take a lot of money from people, you know, with this whole ruse of DOD. She also mentions that Shiloh and herself were the only two that had access to the drug card fentanyl. Robert is like, look, this is your word against his. We need some proof. And so Jason brings up the prescription that is in Henry Archibald's name. And they're like, okay, yeah, this is a start. And she also told the story to a T that they couldn't deny it. Everything that Carol said was true. And they can't prove that, you know, these two coerced anything or got to put their heads together and came up with a conspiracy or anything like that. So they're definitely going to look into bringing Shiloh down, you know. And it took a little bit of questioning from Jason. Jason, guys, he was acting like an attorney. Like, that guy, I'm telling you, he could be a good attorney because he starts asking the right questions. And then it really got Mac and Scorpio into believing what was actually going on. Like, they kind of seemed like they were disgusted that Harmony even knew that Shiloh would be like, that Shiloh was raping these women, giving them these drugs, knocking them out, and having sex with them without their consent. They also discovered that it was a 3-hour window of time that he could have went and killed Douglas Miller. So, you know, she is definitely a trump card because she was Shiloh's right-hand woman, man, however you want to say it. She has all the copies that they need. They have multiple refills that Shiloh did of the drug. They have other people that could corroborate the story because it matches what happened with Sam. She also came forth and said that she perjured herself and she wasn't the one that gave Sam the drug. Shiloh was. Just so much. Like, she was definitely the card they needed to bring Shiloh down. And they're like, what do you want in return for being so open about this? And she's like, look, I don't want anything. I just want to be able to fulfill what my husband wanted done. So I start to see that Harmony really loved her husband and she loved her daughter. She was just a lost soul. And I feel like she feels, well, she did say when they had scenes today with Willow and Harmony, and she starts to mention to Willow that she failed her and it's time for her to make it right. She is going to prison for a while, but she's doing this so that her grandson can be free and to fulfill what Douglas would have wanted her to do. So I think Willow was just taken aback by that. Like, she couldn't believe this is what she's wanted for a long time, and her mother has finally started to come around and see Shiloh for who he is, a liar, a thief, a conniver. She also tells Sam, like, look, Shiloh's been following you for years. He's been scheming and he's been stalking you for years. And Daisy was the one that took the fall for that. So she tells everything, you guys. And I'm like, yes, finally we're getting somewhere. I'm glad that Oscar wrote out another will. I'm glad that Harmony has come forth, and then we have all these other women that can come forth now, because those charges were dropped. They can always pick those charges back up that he's had before, so he will be going down. And if he doesn't, I'm telling you, you guys, this is the last straw. Jason has been waiting to kill him. I'm just gonna say, he's been waiting to kill him, and I've been waiting for Jason to kill him. So yes, today's episode was really, really good. Let me see if I missed anything. You guys also wanted to know, say if Wiley was actually Wiley and he hadn't died, and with Shiloh going down, I wondered if Willow would have wanted her son back, or would she have let her son stayed in Lucas and Brad's custody? So that's kind of what I want to know. Also, I want to know, do you guys think that the writers are going to come up with some kind of way to bring Shiloh out of this mess? GH, they have been bringing it with these storylines. I'm so proud of them and the writing that they've done. They kept me at the edge of my seat. So, yeah. I think that's all. If I missed anything, you guys let me know in the comments below. Let me know how you felt about the episode in general. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Give me a big thumbs up. It's very important. And I will see you guys later. Bye.
I finally made my mind, know that I can't go back broke. They saying that my time up, my back against the ropes. I hustle, got my grind, know that when I make the most. I had faith every night and I never lost no hope.